Welcome to Past, Present, Future, the Full Circle podcast, where we ask questions that nobody else wants to ask, but that you want the answers to. Please subscribe, share, and drop a comment so we know you were there. Let's get into it. So, Past, Present, Future, episode 30, the big 30, and we got a special guest to mark the occasion. We got Be Live in the building. So, as always, we're going to go through the past, present, future journey. But it'd be great to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself briefly, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I suppose the quickest way to introduce myself is as an MC. I've been an MC for a long time. Started in the business under a different name as Evil B, and then quickly learned that I could spell that backwards and use it as Be Live. So yeah, I've ridden the wave of many genres from the beginning to the current wave. At the moment, I'm still here. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what I've been doing. I've been clarting raves for the past 2 decades. Do you know what I'm saying? And very honoured to be able to do so still.
Yeah, 100%. Great intro, so thanks for that. And I did want to go right back to the very beginning, so the past, obviously, to fall in alignment with the structure. And we spoke about it briefly just then, but I wanted to understand from your perspective what it was like growing up in North London.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a bit of a. If I give you the full backstory on the way it was for me. So my parents are very young. My dad's mixed race, and my mum's white, and they met, I believe, in a club in Camden. My dad was a drummer, and he was, he went on to do good things with his career, but he was 19 when he met my mum. My mum was 17. She fell pregnant at 17. Kind of difficult as well, I think, at that age, being with the colour of skin that he had, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward the pregnancy, I'm born into a flat in Wood Green in North London. And then they get a council flat in an area called Winchmore Hill. They're there for 10 years. The parents split. My dad moves to Islington near Clissold Park. I'm going to tell you these names. I know you don't know where they are. So I was between parents at that time. And then from there he went to Tottenham. And once again was between parents at that point. So, I mean, my childhood really, with him in the picture, was colourful. We was poor. We didn't have a lot of stuff going on, we never had wallpaper or carpets or nothing like that, but we had music and we had culture and we definitely had love. My mum was a good woman like that, and there was some darker times that followed later. Don't really need to get into that because it's a cliche thing, you know what I'm saying? You turn to the street and done all of that stuff. I've done that, but ultimately, I guess out of it all, music, culture, was what I got out of being a youngster, really. Failed at school, left school with no qualification, went to college for 6 months, failed at college. It just wasn't for me. About 16, 17, I don't like turn to the roads, man. It's whack, man. I hate all of this. I hate saying this, man. But, like we was on the street and whatever, and me and my best bro, Billy Sullivan, rest in peace. And we was about Edmonton, Tottenham. These times you could move freely around them areas. We wasn't part of no gang or nothing like that, but we was just active. We was around. So, yeah, 17, someone passes me I mean, even going back to that, if we're going to get into inspiration and thing, I might even be able to just help you with the direction that you're going to go. Is like, when my dad was at home, he went on tour to the States and he brought back an album called Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim. And that was the first time I heard rap, real rap, like gangster shit. And I thought, when you just hear something, I must have been 7, 8, and I heard it and I just thought, that is so cold. Out of everything that I've heard, this rap is what I want to, so the seed was planted very much then. But fast forward on, just 8, 9 years, And, we're on the roads around North London. You're getting into a bit of trouble. We had some trouble with the police. I was on charge for a couple things and, all juvenile crime and stuff like that, thank God. And someone passed me a tape of a pirate radio station playing jungle music with Stevie Hyper D and a guy called Clarky, and that was the moment that it really, music grabbed me properly, because this was like the rap I heard when my dad was at home, but this was in an accent that now I understood. You know what I'm saying? And I just became infatuated with jungle. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it was like what every big moment in any scene has had, the explosion of grime and what that meant for the culture of kids that were coming up in it. That's what jungle was for my era. Do you know what I'm saying? Infatuated, not old enough to get in the raves yet, but just studying, listening every day. Anyone from that period, ask Dizzy, he would tell you the same thing. Dizzy Rice would tell you the same thing. Wiley, anyone. That is where it all started. Even grime. Not garage, but grime started in jungle. Because we were all there. Do you know what I'm saying? Rico, Wiley, Dizzy, everyone's mind was there. We wanted to be like Skibber and Shabba and Stevie Hype and all these legends, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I guess that's really where the spark started. Obviously, you don't go from being, a fan of the music to suddenly becoming an MC and then living out of it. There's a whole fucking kaleidoscope of emotions and bad things that happen, good things that happen along the way, little moments. It always starts in the bedroom, writing bars with a book like that in front of you, scribbling down shit. I've still got them books at home. It's funny when I go back and read the lyrics and, like, not that they were super whack, because at that time they was even more advanced than what it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, just working away in the bedroom, doing practice sessions with some guys that could afford. I always wanted to be a DJ at the start, actually, but I couldn't afford turntables. So the only other way to be involved was to get on the bars. And because I had the rap in my mind from before, I rapped, you know what I'm saying, over, and then hearing Stevie, who would also rap as well. So yeah, I guess fast forward now another couple of years, and one of my guys, without letting me know, he sent his own DJ demo into a station called Rude FM. Now, Cool FM back in the day was the big boy station. That was where you went if you was a top boy. Skibber D, Hyper D, Shabba, all of these people. We all of us wanted to be on that station. That was the dream. In fact, I can remember doing tapes back in the bedroom days and saying, yo, like, Cool FM, you're listening to Cool FM, right? Like, you just emulate everything that you heard, right? And my guy sends in a demo tape to this station, Rude FM, North London station. And they say, yeah, come. So last minute, he says to them, my friend's an MC, can I bring him up? And they were like, look, we don't operate like that. We need to hear demos and all of this kind of stuff. And somehow they turned around and said to him, all right, bring him up. He's allowed on for 10 minutes. Because they're so used to hearing so much whack people come up. Everyone wants to be an MC these times, you know what I'm saying? And I just went to Tottenham, into some mad road. I walked up into the studio. There's all these big goons in there. I'm a little youth at them times. I was about it. I was probably more about like squabbles and that then than I am now. My whole mindset has completely changed towards real life now compared to what it was then. Then I was a brave heart, you know what I'm saying? And you always know, like, the smallest kid in the room is always trying to prove the biggest situation. And I was small, do you know what I'm saying? And I walk in and there's these goons in there, a guy called Pedro from Tottenham, Speedy from Tottenham, Excellence from Tottenham. These are it was a hostile environment to be walking into. Like, everyone's looking me up and down. So I go in the room and here I am in a pirate radio station. And the crackling is coming through the speakers and the guys like saying, yeah, you're listening to Rude FM 104.3 on your dial. And I'm thinking, hey, this is it. I've been listening to this shit all my life. You know, like, this is what I've wanted. Like, I realise now. And then I picked up the mic, said, check, check. And I was just, boom, I was away. And they were supposed to come in after 10 minutes, the management, to say, all right, you had your go. 20 minutes pass, half hour pass, hour pass. And I come out and all the goons was in there. They was spudding me when I come out. Hey, you're hard. They was going, you're hard. Management pulled me. It was like, we're gonna... I remember how they tried to gas me up. A guy called Reckless B pulled me and said, hey, we're gonna make you the next Skibbity, bro. You're so sick. And I was gassed. That was it. Everyone in that room became my family. You know, like from that young age, 17 or whatever, from that point on, everyone in the room became family to me. Like, they all lived. The maddest thing is, my dad lived on Sheringham Avenue in Tottenham. Like, all of the brothers that was in that room were living off roads that were off that road. So I started seeing, like, local, actually, like, and that was it. Do you know what I'm saying? I fell in love with it. There is some story that as I was talking to you there, I was thinking, there's some stuff I've missed out. There was actually a situation before that, 2 years before that, prior to that actually, where I got a call from a guy called John Gosling, who I later found out in life that had his gold teeth put in by Goldie, which is a bit of a mad story, right? Like there's a whole heap of other musical stuff. And I remember I got a call from him, he was like, yeah, come and do this. I need you to come and do this little rap thing on a tune. And the tune was for Mad Frankie Fraser. I don't know if you know who that is, like, that's you know, the Crazer, right?
How did that feel at the time?
Because I didn't give a fuck. I was just this young kid, like, when I'm, like, mate, it's like, you know, these guys are like, hello, boy, like, you know, real old school English. I just done the rap on the tune. I found the tune the other day.
What did it feel like listening back to it?
I feel trash listening back to it, but you know, it's like these little trigger moments in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like little signs early on that maybe something was potentially that I could maybe do something. Especially when I come out, more than anything, when I come out the studio, I Rude FM and all the man them was there and they was just like, hey, you are, you know what I'm saying, fire. All this time I've been sitting at home writing in that thing by myself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like watching my mom struggle or my little brother struggle or, you know, having no gas and electric but still lighting a candle at night so I can pen the bars. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not to make it sound like my mum was a bum, even though like we was super poor. Like my mum was living off $8,000 a year with 2 sons on by herself in a place that had no fucking wallpaper or fucking rooms that had been burnt. You know, had fires in, do you know what I'm saying? But she still went university every single day to try and do this thing. I mean, she made it. Eventually she made it, but you know, I don't like it. Sometimes like when you say, yeah, this is how humble our beginnings were, and people think, right, your mum was a waste. No, my mum wasn't a waste, man. She was left in a bad position, but she turned her life around. So let's celebrate Mumsy for that.
Yeah, I wanted to tap into that a little bit, to be honest, and thank you for articulating so much, because there's so many different avenues that I can tap into. But I did want to go back to one of the very first things that you mentioned, and you made a point of referencing that your parents were young when they had you. Yeah. What did it look like growing up in a family with young parents for someone that hasn't been through that?
I really don't like sweeping generalizations. I wouldn't want to speak on anybody else's experience. I can only speak for myself, right? I don't think like there's one set of, you know, I can say a statement that will apply to everyone in the situation. For me, growing up, I was unaware of how difficult it was for my parents because I was just a wild kid. I was wild. My dad was very much an alpha male then times, you know, like he was on his, you're talking about a 23-year-old man. Like at 23, what do you know anything about life? But he was like a rock star drummer. You know, he's flying to LA, he's doing shows. He ain't bringing no money back from it all, even though they was earning. He's probably spending it on fucking strippers and cocaine for all I know. I don't know. But, you know, for me, in my house, all I felt in those young years, you know, before the fuckery later, but was just vibrance and love and loud music and Janet Kay and Shaka Khan, you know, and, you know, my mum was the first person who played NWA to me. You know, my mum, sometimes we'd be on me and Billy be on the road, like, and you'd hear a bass line coming from far away, and it would be my mum driving down the road. Do you know what I'm saying? With the house speakers in the back of a Vauxhall Astra. Do, 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 you know, like Shabba Ranks and all of that. Like, so to me, it's like, it's just normal. It was just normal life. In fact, it only really hit for me, I think, that when I went to senior school, I had a couple of boys who were also from like bad areas. Because where my mum lived is actually a really nice area. She was just poor, you know what I'm saying? But boys that were from bad areas came to my house, and then like the rumours at school afterwards was that I was living on like milk crates and shit. Like, I thought, rah, these lot are being hard. Like, everyone's being horrible to me saying how poor we are. I don't realise how poor we are until I went to their house. Not that they was living in nice places, but Mumsy had done, you know, Jack, your clothes are ready for school in the morning. Clothes are ready for school? What? I used to go lost property to get my garms for school. You know? That's where I got my clothes from. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Yeah. I was unaware of it until later in life, just how difficult it must have been for my mum. Do you know what I'm saying? I was unaware. But, you know, we turned that around. We changed things. We live good now. You know, me and my brother, we bought my mum a car. We've done them things, you know, like, and she's good. She's good. She's an intellectual woman. She's not a waste man. You know, there's nothing like that about it. But, you know, sometimes hindsight, when you get further out, you get so lost in the moment in life sometimes that you don't realise things are happening until you come out the other side. And that's basically what childhood was for me. I didn't realise, really. I mean, I can't think of any particular moment in my youngest years, you know, between 4 years old and 13, that stick out to me as bad moments. It just seems like we was just living, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, later on, from 14 to 21, things got a bit more sadistic, but that's because the mind starts to develop and you're subjected to the street, you know what I'm saying? You can't be weak on the roads. You know, you have to choose what you're going to be. You're going to be a sheep or a shepherd. So I tried to be a shepherd. And you know, not particularly proud of things that I did. In fact, I really don't like to talk about that too much. And I don't like it when I bump into people who knew me from that period and they're like, oh yeah, do you remember? I want to hear what I did. I don't like that stuff. You know, it's different now. I see life different. So yeah, that's what it was.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you were expected to be at home, if that makes sense, because you've said, look, I was this guy, and you referenced the sheep shepherd analogy. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you were expected to be at home, and the reason I want to go.
What do you mean by who though?
By parents, sorry,
oh, right,
to be
parents.
specific, because the reason I want to go into it is obviously that there's two sides to your story. There's Evil B, there's Be Live, and I was kind of wondering how much almost that alter ego was birthed by your childhood. Absolutely. The name Evil B comes from a situation that I am so appalled by that I can't even tell you, but it's actually my mum that called me an evil bastard. But I had my brethren with me, my good brethren, who I mentioned earlier, Billy Sullivan, man. I'm going to say his name because he's no longer with us. I wear him here. Like, that's the first tattoo I ever had. He was murdered. But, yeah, like, I had there was a point in my young teenage years where I was so explosive, bro. Like, this is why I almost understand all the stuff that goes on the street today. And people say, oh, it's terrible, these kids are doing that, and it's terrible. But I can vaguely remember that high-octane, energy-fueled rage, drunk on it. I can vaguely remember it now. Now I've got a bigger mind. My mind says, no, man, don't do that. I mean, maybe in the car, if someone gives it in the car, it's the only time I can get a little bit wound up. But more time, I'm just like, no, man, sorry. Even if I'm not in a... But as a youngster, yeah, I had a situation
And my behavior was so bad that my mum called me that, but my brethren was in my bedroom at the time, and they used to call me B because of my surname. That when I went into the bedroom, he was like, "Hey, evil B," because my mum was going ham, like. And yeah, that's how it was born. Evil B, that's how it was born. It was actually born out of fuckery. But I think as well now, it's like, for the people who see me now as Evil B, it sounds peculiar to them, because I'd like to think that I seem like I'm a little bit more. I'm not free from my demons by any means. I've got PTSD. I have certain emotional, but I've had 10, 15 years of counselling to try to undo my demons, because I didn't want to live with them. I see people now who I knew from back then who are living with their demons, man, and they can't get free from it, whether it's child abuse, whether it's road life, whether it's PTSD, whatever it is, and they don't get free. And I've constantly worked to be free of mine, but back then, oh man, I don't know, man.
What do you feel birthed that within you?
Well, I feel like I've probably always been. Firstly, I'm an alpha male's son. Like I had the kind of upraising that was taught that, you don't lose. You don't lose. It's programmed into me at such a young age, that feeling of don't lose or don't let my dad down. What will my dad do? Or, like my dad's tough. My dad was doing my dad was when I was growing up, he was in great shape. Kickboxing, fighting, muscular. I come from a family of athletic men from my father's side. Do you know what I'm saying? And, my granddad too was came to this country from Mauritius. Probably somewhere else before they got to Mauritius. It's a long story, but and my nan is like a Spanish Jew, and these people are from the background, like hard backgrounds. And my dad was, had a tough life, made him hard, even though he was very loving to me as a child, but we just had that mentality. Yeah. I couldn't lose. I remember being so immature, having a play fight of a friend who'd slightly got the better of me, like at 9 or 10 years old at school, and I knocked his teeth out. Sheer and utter ego. No, I'm not going to lose. The parents took him out of school and all of that, and my mum's getting called up. So obviously, you move forward a little bit of life, and as I was saying to you, from 13 till 16, 17, I noticed there were some things that were happening in life that were starting to disturb me, but I couldn't facilitate the word or the conversation because Mumsy's too busy trying to get, when I come home from school, there's no one in the house. So you just get out on the road. That's it. It was me and Billy. We was out on the road. That's what we did. And then when you're out on the road, if you feel aggressive, you might be a bully. I've been a bully. I really am embarrassed about it, but I've been that to people, I've been horrible.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, to be fair, because you say that this kind of like alpha instinct was instilled in you from your dad and from your upbringing, and you've referenced a few times throughout the conversation, now your mind's bigger, you've elevated in the position that you're in today. So I guess what I'm asking you is, upon reflection, how does that alpha state make you feel now when you reflect on it?
Well, the thing is, I had what I would call what I had Napoleon syndrome, because when you fall in love with street, which I did, and I loved the street music and I loved the culture, the dress, I felt like whenever I was in a street situation with people that were from the same, I felt like these
family.
I feel the same. We all feel the same. His dad's gone. This is what it's like at home. I could identify with these people more. This is what I'm saying about the boys that I met up at Rue de Femme later on in life. They became my brothers because everyone was the same. There was no difference between us. But what I did start to do is maybe I would pick on people that wasn't from our understanding.
Yep.
And if we was out at night, I don't want to go too far into this because I don't want it to glorify it and I don't want it to make it seem like I'm proud of, because I really am not proud of the things that I've done and I've repented for them. But I thought I was on real crud, you know, like, you know, I've been the victim of you know, weapons, and I've used those, and all of the terrible stuff that comes along with it, until I started to mix with some people that were out of my category.
Mm-hmm.
Not ones that were trying to be on road, ones that were ingrained bad guys. And I got dragged out of my depth. I was way out of my depth, and it frightened me. And one of them, thank God for him, pulled me, said, yo, you know, that's how the elders would talk to you back in the day. What are you doing around here with all of this? You know, I've heard your bars and you like the mic and you like all of this stuff. And look at you, you're too pretty. Go and play with the galleys. That's what they used to say. Go and play with the galleys. You know, like shout out Malcolm and Wayne and all of the old school man them, because they helped to transform me, because I thought, what am I doing? I'm not a gangster. I'm not going to be a gangster, but I'm going to end up either dead or in jail because of this energy. This energy is what's going to pull me out. You know, some of these kids that are in jail now for a hideous crime that they'll publicise on the news, and they'll put a picture of said kid, knife attack. That's all we take from it. But I guarantee you it's the energy of that situation that got him into that predicament. This male, toxic energy. Hey, let's do it. And you get the rush and bang, all of a sudden you've done something that you can't ever change. So, you know, life is full of choices and thank God for elders who step in, you know, and school you a little bit, probably saved my life. And I think it was at that point I just decided to dress back what I thought I was trying to be and actually concentrated on, you know, like, yeah, man, bars, bro, and music. What am I doing? Like, maybe in hindsight, maybe, you know, someone who was more intelligent than me would say, well, you know what, you was doing them bad things because you was desperately trying to get attention from parents or to someone saying. In fact, I remember on my first therapy session, right, which I'll tell you why that came around, but my therapist said to me, he let me talk for an hour. He didn't say nothing. They got this technique, therapists, right? If you ever go to therapy, you walk into a therapist's room, they'll greet you and then they'll sit down and they'll literally stare at you. And you feel so uncomfortable. You're like, you feel like every second is a minute or an hour and they're just staring. And you're thinking, rah. And then you go, right, so I'm here because, and that is a psychological process to get you to initiate your healing. You have to start that. And then I did. I spoke for an hour, and at the end, he just said, oh, that sounds like it must have been really hard for you. And I'm not going to lie, bro, I cried like a fucking baby. I cried like a baby. Because that's the first time in my whole life anyone had ever said that to me. Everyone else just said, this is life. That's how it is. It's hard. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And all of that, just bottling it up. Like, a young mind needs to be able to sieve out and to talk about stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I say to these dads, man. Don't make it too hard for your kid to come to you and say, hey, guess what? I am afraid. I am afraid of Tommy in school. I am afraid of this or of that. It doesn't always have to be. Be a man. Be tough. Be this. Be tough. Because all that's doing is getting the youth to bottle up stuff. And then maybe one day he steps outside and does something super wild. And then we'll say, that's out of character. Yeah, man, but you should have talked to that kid when he was trying to talk. So I've been lucky, bro. I'm not going to lie. To get through that period of my life, I feel so lucky because I guess at one point it could have definitely gone the other way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's basically what it was like coming from that background, you know? And, you know, a number of events were lucky enough to pull me out of ending in a bad way, you know? I hate that though. I hate the way it's so generic, right? You know, like every MC. So what would you be doing if you weren't rapping? Well, I'd probably be on the roads or in jail. It's so horrible, but it's so true. It's so true. I'd like to think now, obviously in hindsight, with my intellect, and I realise that I'm not an idiot. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I'm not an idiot. I could have found some way without it, but at that young age, man, I don't know, man. I was too drunk on watching Menace to Society and fucking Boys in the Hood and coming out and feeling like, yeah, I'm with the gang and the guys, you know what I'm saying?
Quick one. Our sponsor, the 1994 Collective, are experts in PR and radio plugging. If you're an upcoming urban artist seeking airtime and to scale your audience, drop them a message and let them know we sent you. I think you raised a really, really solid point there about bottling things up. And I think whether it's on the road or whether it's just people going through mental health issues, whatever it is, I think that's relevant to whoever is listening or watching to this. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that and just kind of from your perspective, why do you think it is that people don't feel like they can release those sorts of things in any scenario?
I think, well, for boys, I feel like it's we don't like to be vulnerable, you know? We don't like that feeling of vulnerability. And also, though, like, it's not just about the person suffering. It's about who they got around them. Who would you share this top secret information with? Who do you trust enough to be able to take their advice from? Look, if I'm your big brother, right, and I'm wild, and you're coming to me with a soulful matter, and I give you advice from my perspective, is that advice going to be good for you? Probably not. Probably not. So I guess this all really rattles down to dads, you know, and how important it is that, you know, men, when they do have a child, they sacrifice that part of themselves and really try to raise these children with wisdom. Put all that shit beside you, man. You know, when I see grown men now with kids and they're still doing up road, or they're doing up punch-ups, or they're doing up guns or drugs, I just feel like, bro, you ain't got it, man. You shouldn't be in a position to be raising that child. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to tell Shorty when he comes home from school and he's like, Dad, I feel really scared about that? You're going to give him the right information or the wrong information? Like I said, though, I don't like sweeping statements, so it's unfair for me to say, you know, not every person who's still on the road is a bad dad. Some of them dads will be excellent fathers. But, you know, we all have to pay at the end and try and make sure it don't go on to the kids. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I want to tap into the mental health element a little bit later, but to talk about the music, you've discussed kind of briefly the pirate radio situation.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, as someone that's been in the game for 2 decades, how much has the music industry shifted as we'll move into the present section now? How much has it shifted for someone that's been and seen it all?
Well, it's the ongoing thing that will always happen is that something will be born out of desperation. It will explode from that point. That is at its best, most pure moment. Then the industry will pay attention to whatever that moment is. The industry will exploit that moment. Some stars will be born out of it. Ultimately, it will dilute that situation. That will start to tamper off. And then a new movement will start somewhere else and the same situation will happen again. You know, look, from the beginning of this music, all of the greatest music comes out of desperation, poor, suffering, you know. And people will make money off of those situations. People will exploit those. Labels will exploit it. You know what I'm saying?
How does that make you feel?
I mean, when I think about some of the greatest artists that I've listened to and what they must have gone through in the days of blues or in the days of soul music, and the exploitation this just disgusts me, really. But, you know, the system's too far to be. We can't sell big numbers. Well, that's not necessarily true. Skep does just fine. Skepta does just fine. He's his own boss. He's got his own label. AJ Tracy as well, I believe. You know, there's a few. It's starting to change, which is wonderful, and people need to pay attention to that. But it upsets me when something is raw and it gets bought and then it gets diluted and watered down and then it becomes rubbish. That upsets me, but you know, the rest is just playing the game, I guess, really. You know, the longer time goes on, the more artists know what to demand when they're doing music contracts. You know, maybe now an artist says, no, I'm not signing that until I got musical, I choose, you know, all of my musical integrity, you know, everything that happens with the song, how it's put out. Maybe 5 years ago, the man signed the same contract but didn't even look at the small print, and maybe they get Kylie Minogue on the remix. And he's like, wait, yeah, but we need to do that to sell the record. You should have looked at the small print. So it's just evolution. What I have learned about it, yes, evolution, right? No matter what happens to a music, when it starts to evolve or a culture starts to evolve, there's nothing, anyone can do to hold on to that moment. The evolution will just roll over you, and you can either learn to adapt to roll with it, or you step to the side, or you can stand there and it will just flatten you. You can't stop it. I've watched people try to stop it happening to garage when grime come around. Can't happen. It will happen over and over and over again. It's just the human nature, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, to evolve.
You say about adaptation and evolution. So I think this actually really taps into kind of the next point that I wanted to go into. So I read somewhere that you are the only MC in the UK, in the UK's history, to win awards in 2 different genres. How relevant is that to the fact that you had to adapt to these different movements?
You know what? It's not relevant at all. It's not relevant at all. I think I must have 10 awards at home in 2 different genres. I've got ones voted by the industry. I've got ones as best MC in entertainer, best lyrical over there, best over there. I won it in 2004 at the height of Sidewinder. You know, it's all bullshit, man.
So why do you think you are so versatile then?
I just love music. All this award shit is bullshit to me. How can you be the best in music? How can an MC win best award? Who says you're the best? What? So if we got 100 people in a room and 51 people say that I'm better than you, does that make me better than you, really? How can I be better than you? Look, I appreciate that. That makes me sound like I don't appreciate the accolade. I do. It's wonderful to pick up. When I wanted those awards, when I didn't have them, I really wanted to win them. And then I got them and I'm like, well, it's a bit whack.
So if the awards are bullshit or not important, what is important to you within music?
Fan base. If you can walk out into a crowd, say 3 or 4 words, and you got the whole audience singing your shit, let me tell you, take that over the award. Take that over any award. That's the real thing. When you're walking out onto the stage and you say, da, 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 and the whole crowd says this shit back, you don't need fucking awards. Like, you know, it's nice. Okay, look, the industry, if it was industry voted and all of the DJs and MCs said, yeah, he's had the hot year, let's vote for him now, and I got an industry voted award, I'd say, oh man, hey man, thank you lot. Big respect. But when it comes to like saying someone's the best MC, that's subjective, man. It's subjective, you know? Like, and sometimes some promoters like to get business with other people, so they might want to favourite a man that they got to do some work with later on in the line. Oh, no. I've seen too many people not win awards who should have won awards. And that pisses me off because I feel like they're disheartened when I know they had a great year. You know, like, I'd rather just give man the flowers myself. When I see him, I say, yo, bro, you're cold, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at that, what you just did to the crowd. You said 3 words, bro. The crowd said to the other 10. You know what I'm saying? That's the real shit. But I have enjoyed, I'm not going to lie, leaving Jungle, I went to Garage and I climbed through the Garage ranks. You know, when the guys who were in control of that, I'm going to say names, but the olders at that time didn't want me around because I rapped too much. Garage back in the day was so smooth for the ladies, in the white, in the black, good from the back, you know, like that kind of thing. And I was spitting. They didn't like it. But that drives you. Fuck, that same alpha thing that we spoke about. As on the street, if you can learn to apply that to something in your personal life, which I had found music, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used it as an energy to drive me forward in that, and then I won them, and I won them again, and then I won them again. Do you know what I'm saying? And I won them. I'm the last winner of those Sidewinder awards, and I've got a UKG award voted for by the industry, which that's quite proud, because that was given an endorsement from people that I really looked up to. But so you have them and all of that, and you write it in your bio. I'm an award winner, award-winning MC. I don't even write. Deleted all that shit. All my awards are at my mum's house. I hope like it gives her a little bit of something to feel proud of. But they don't mean anything to. Well, they don't mean much to me. You know what I'm saying.
But you spoke about the importance of fans, and that being the most important thing. And obviously, with a strong fan base breeds a strong amount of shows, which is what I wanted to go into. And obviously, like we were speaking about off camera, in excess of 35, 36 shows this summer. But what I'm most interested to go into there is kind of what we touched upon earlier off camera, and kind of the mental health element of that. And off the back of those shows and those constant dopamine hits that you get after coming off the stage and you've said 3 words and they're all going mental. What does the low point of that look like?
Well, this is where I'm at in life now. So look, for me to explain to you how I manage now, I have to go back to probably, once I'd become a name MC, I would just get in the car, me and my driver, and we would just drive everywhere for bullshit money. I never wanted to be a recording artist. I wanted to be I just wanted to be an MC in a club that got them reactions, like EZ took me on, as a kid. Craig David rang me, asked me to be on a remix. Like, I was a kid. I was gassed. I was going all the biggest raves in London, going there, shelling them down, shelling them, da-da-da-da. And I hadn't addressed my mental health issues properly. I was in therapy. I fell in love with a woman like when I was 21 who gave me an ultimatum. It was like, you either see somebody about this or we're done. And thank God for that ultimatum, because it changed the direction of my life. So through them years of blowing up in garage and all of that kind of stuff, the seeds of poor mental health were there, but they hadn't blossomed into trees because I was so caught up in living like this. Listen, I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing people are hitting 40, 50, 60 years old, and now their mental health's getting them. Because they've been so busy with life, they never took time to work out what's going on. So it comes out eventually. You can't get away from it. You have to address it. So, believe it or not, and this is going to sound a bit macho-y and all of that kind of stuff, but while I was doing therapy, I'd done some boxing as a kid. I'd been a competition judo fighter as a kid as well. I've always done physical sports. And as I explained to you, my dad was a fighter at St. Pancras kickboxing gym, and he would take me there as a kid. And then I just fell in love with boxing. And I was at my boxing gym for probably 10 years. I never went out and had a public bout because I was just so scared, because everyone knew who I was. Everyone knew I was B-Live. The pressure of being out and being in a loss, I couldn't suffer it.
How much did that pressure add to the mental health problems?
Well, it wasn't meant, because it was boxing. I didn't have. It was different. This place, what this place represented for me was an outlet for my angst.
Yeah.
So yes, I would go and do these shows on the weekend, just trying to tap into what you were saying. I'd go and do these shows on the weekend, but then I'd be in the boxing gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm sparring, I'm fighting boys. Like it weren't no game. In Finchley Boxing Gym, where I come from, this shit was the lion's den. Derek Chisora comes out of that gym. Anthony Joshua comes out of that gym. Not that I would spar in them guys. In fact, I remember the day Anthony Joshua came into my gym. I was there already before him. He couldn't do shit. He was like learning how to jab for the first time. But me, a few boys, we fought. It was great for me. It was an outlet. I would leave there and I felt tranquil. So I started to learn over the years that what suits me is the discussion about my psychological feelings through therapy and the physical outlet. And now, the way I manage with these tours, and what you're saying is, Sunday comes and I lay out. I'm fucked. I'm done. I'm a mute. The weekend's clarted me off. Monday, I'm in the gym. Twice, if I have to. Tuesday, Wednesday. By Wednesday, I start to balance out again. And I'm very, very lucky that I've got 10 real brothers around me. real people that have known me for 20 years plus, who phone, who check in. And between them, because my therapist is dead, God rest his soul, but between them and the training, you know, a female if I'm lucky, I found a way. And I'm ready to go again by Friday. And because I love to see the fan base so much, getting to work when I've had that 3 or 4 days of tranquility, I can't wait to just get back to it. I love shelling still. When am I going to stop loving shelling? Like, I've been doing this for such a long time. I still step up on stage and I get busy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel active and I love it, man. I love it. I still love this thing.
When did your therapist pass away?
God, I don't. This must be maybe 10 years ago now.
And given the fact you stressed the importance of the ultimatum that you were given to go to therapy and to change, how did that affect you when your therapist, that I guess you must have trusted a lot and given a lot away to? How did that feel? When
listen, that man has died with secrets that no one, and I've never said to anybody. I've bared my soul to him, but he was like, bro. When I first went to therapy, like, he was like 70 years old. He opened the door, had some big long grey beard. Because I knew that I couldn't be sitting in a room with no young man. I need someone like...
Why?
He's like a recovering alcoholic. He'd been through the trenches in life. So when we versed, you know, obviously the first couple of years are very much student-teacher kind of vibes. But after a while, when I start to balance out and we just talk about, you know, philosophical things in life, he would listen. I would tell him about, yo, this is what happened on the weekend, man, blah, blah, blah. Hey, this girl threw a fucking bra, it hit me in the eye. Like, we'd laugh, you know, like, became my friend. And I suppose, in a weird, became a father. The one that I was lacking. Do you know what I'm saying? The one that a lot of these kids are lacking. So, yeah, that's basically it, man. Therapy and boxing and training, the fucking shit saved my life. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I feel blessed, bro. I feel super blessed.
It's inspirational, so thank you for going into all of that.
Pleasure, man.
Genuinely appreciate it.
Pleasure.
I want to close up the present section by kind of leading into the future by asking you, at this very moment in time, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment or the thing that you value the most?
Out of everything in life?
Correct.
Being a dad. Out of everything. I've been an incredible father. And it makes me love myself so much for it. I learned that actually doing things that make you feel proud, even in private, reinforces your self-esteem. And if you can stand up and look in the mirror and like who you are as an individual, even when the rest of the world is calling you a piece of shit, if you know you kept it 100 for those who need it, it puts you in such a position of power. I'm so resilient. If someone says to me, hey, man, hey, bro, you got some bad energy, you know, bro, I think, like... it just bounces off me. Like, I care about the opinions of those that I love. I don't need to worry about nobody who don't really know me at all. That's just your opinion from a distance. It doesn't mean anything to me. But let me tell you this. Me and my daughter, we're on some real love, some real mutual respect. And me and my bros, my close bros, we're on some real mutual respect, some real love. Me and my brother, we're on some... my mom, you know, like... they're the ones who let me know what type of person I am. Do you know what I'm saying? So, absolutely, man. She is my biggest achievement. 100%. 100%, man. She changed my life. 100%.
How did she change your life?
Well, because just when, you know, you're holding a baby girl in your arms and you're looking at her and you're thinking, the first time you look at her, you're thinking, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. You know... I said all I wanted was a healthy child. Now she's born, I realise I wanted a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what have I done? Like, I've been a gallus in my life. How's God? Why have you done this to me? You know what I'm saying? And then just like... just starts to change you and break you on the inside, like softens you and like, rah, look at this beautiful thing growing, man. Nurture, love, care. When you start to feel them type of emotions, when you've been, I suppose, trying to block them out for such a long time, or you have blocked them out just to cope in life, it opens up a whole new way of looking at life entirely. Do you know what I'm saying? She is the first thing I think of in any situation. If I'm going to do something mad, she comes into my mind. If I'm, gonna make a big business decision, I think about how it will affect her. I don't do anything in my life without thinking about how it's gonna affect her.
That's interesting, because earlier in the conversation you said that you don't really get mad anymore, mate. You reference, maybe in a car I'll get a bit annoyed or something like that. But I guess that what you were saying there was in the back of my mind. The reason I don't get annoyed or let a situation overtake me is because of this.
Of course. This life is bigger than us, right? We're tiny specks of sand floating in a fucking galaxy, right? Like, all overrating our self-importance. Like, let me just get some perspective here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing is that important. I don't need to be go and prove no rep to nobody, or, like, don't get me wrong. Look, if you come to my house and there's a big problem, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna find out that I'm not a pussy hole, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not really, after all of that, man, I'm grown. Like, I don't care. My daughter, man, like, my daughter, do you know what I'm saying? Like, life is wavy, man. Invest in your children and it will pay you dividends. And I'm not talking about finances, man. Fuck finances. I'm talking about soul food. You got to feel that in your life. You have to feel what soul feels like. You have to love like that, unconditional. And it will make you feel excellent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Self-esteem is everything, bro. I promise you, self-esteem is everything. I've been out with the most beautiful women in this world. I'm not going to lie. No, that's ridiculous. But I've been out with 2 or 3, right, that have won beautiful women in the world competitions.
Okay.
I could name drop. I'm not going to name drop because it's not that type of show. And they're not confident. Self-esteem, bro. Maybe dad left too young, so they're searching out certain things. I've learned, like, in a lot of people, when I see defects in their character, it's normally down to lack of self-esteem or self-confidence. So therefore, you just got to do things that fulfill that, and then you won't be rocked by the world, because everyone's trying to rock you. Like, go to the gym, work on yourself, invest in love, maintain friendships. Do you know what I'm saying? Do those things, and that's it, man.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to ask you is to obviously tap into the future. So you spoke about your biggest achievement to date being your daughter. With that in mind, moving into the future, what do you want to accomplish in the future? I guess, and you speak about the emphasis on self-esteem. What do you want to accomplish in the future to give you that optimum self-esteem?
I feel like I've clocked the matrix already. I can't lie. I look at her like she's a young woman now. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like she's everything. Like, I've done it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've clocked it. You know what I'm saying? My mom's good. My bro's good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a millionaire, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? And man, just get me on a beach, in a little beach shack, living out the rest of my years with just loads of bunda around me. You know, like, preferably South American, but I don't care if the bunda's good. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to put too much emphasis on bunda. I keep saying bunda. But, like, simple things, bro. Simple things, man. Like,
but nothing sticks out. So I guess what you're saying you clock the matrix. You're happy, you're content. So if you were to die tomorrow, you're
if I was to die tomorrow, I'm good, right? There'll be people that will miss me, there'll be people that are upset, there'll be people that will be throwing house parties. That's fine. It's cool. I look, Skepta's been my friend for a long time. I look at what he did with his career and I think, wow. Shit, I wonder if I had taken a left at the lights instead of when I went right, I could have done that. He used to say, and Wiley, all of them used to say, oh, you should be here. But I was like, I want to shell in the club. That's what I wanted to do. While they was in the studio, I was in the club. You know what I'm saying? And I look at what they've done and think, man, maybe it could have been different. But look, man, I put out a fucking big release last year with Jamie and Becky Hill. I'm still here, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I still got people that want to work. I still got a body of work that I'm dropping. I'm still active, and I'm still shelling in clubs. I'm still privileged to be doing what I'm doing. I feel blessed, man. I can't lie. I feel blessed. It was good.
You referenced the music there, and I guess this would kind of close the future element up. I just wanted to ask you, and I guess for your fans that are watching this thinking, ask them about music. What does the future hold musically? And you referenced a body of work.
Well, I feel like so during lockdown, lockdown happened, right? And my career is just, because as you said, like 35 shows in summer. But you pull that out, you pull the live performance out of it, and what am I? I'm now vulnerable as fuck because I'm not a recording artist. I'm a shellers. You've just taken my whole life, a huge part of my life. After my daughter, it's my job, right? And it's gone. So I'm like, what am I going to do with this time? You know, I'm doing Joe Wicks. I'm doing up Joe Wicks every day in the fucking living room for the best part of 2 years. It's mad when you think about it now, right? But there was a studio at the end of my road with someone that I knew, and we would link round there every Saturday and drink a drink and maybe sneak a couple of the brethrens round or some girls down or whatever. And we just made music. And it comes to the end of a year and I've got a body of work there. I've never had the time. Because the one thing about doing the job that I do is mental fatigue. Like I'm saying to you earlier, it takes me till Wednesday, Thursday to balance out, especially after a big weekend. There ain't no time to be in the studio like Skep and them man there. My mind, I'm not gifted enough to be able to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Some people are just generally can be in the studio and it pops. For me, it doesn't work like that. I like to take a beat home, live with it, write to it, fill it in like a crossword almost. So during lockdown, I just was going to the studio every Saturday, just me and this one producer, and managed to create a body of work. So that is just being ready to drop. And the maddest thing about that material is that it's got no one's opinion. There's no opinion from anybody. There's no label involved. There's no management involved saying, oh, you shouldn't say that, or, you know, that beat's not going to work on the number. I don't give a fuck about the numbers, bro. I don't care about no numbers. I want to put out a body of work that I feel represents me in that period of my life. I want to talk about shit that's real to me. I want to say it how I want to say it, and I don't want it polluted from anyone. So that's what I got. I've got that there. I'm also part of a collective called Problem Central. They do massive festival lineups. Me and one of the other best spitters who's, I guess timeline is slightly synonymous with mine, except for he stayed in Jungle from when we was kids when I went off to Garage. He's the top spitter. I'm a top spitter. We're together. We go out and we smash up raves every single week. Then I got my own shit, you know, still Evil B, still go out and do that thing. And I still do my B Live stuff, you know, like I was on Skepta's release 3 years ago now that was. I've had this one with JME. I've got another one coming. And then I've got another live performance set with a DJ called Cartier. Me and him are starting a new thing. Like we got a show at IB for Rocks next month. Like, you know, bro, hey, I'm playing gas. Listen, this weekend, so this Sunday, look, I'm flying to Napa. I'm flying to Napa to play a party and a boat party. That's what I don't like about Siri sometimes. You know, like I didn't want to apologise then. I was in the middle of my shit. But so I'm flying to Napa, gonna play that. I got a boat party out there. Gonna play that. Gonna fly back to London on Friday. I land in London at Friday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I got a show in Rochester at 10. Then a Problem Central XOYO residency on the Friday night. Saturday I got a show. Sunday I drive to Glastonbury. I play Glastonbury. Then I'm home for 4 days. Then I fly to Ibiza to play Ibiza. Bro, like...
Crazy.
I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired, but I'm good. If I'm lucky enough to end up with a girl stroking the back of my shoulders to tell me I'm all right, I mean, you know, like, and the man them around me, my bros around me, and we're good, we're here. That's my brother, I love you. That's my brother, my kid's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bob, look at them girls. Oh, that one's got bunda. I said bunda again. You know, like...
It's good.
Bro, how can I be angry or cross about anything? Look at this. Look at the landscape. I'm good, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I paid for my sins. I've been twisted and angry and competitive and all of that. I'm comfy now, man. Happy, bro.
I'm glad to hear it, and it's perfect. And it's a great answer, and I think it kind of rounds things off. perfectly. Full circle. We call it the Full Circle podcast, and I think we've gone pretty full circle. The last question, which is not really to tap into your story, but that I ask everyone, and this is just to kind of help us build our natural fan base and audience and guests.
Yeah.
Who out of your network would you like to see me talk to on this platform to hear their story?
Do you know what? The thing is, okay, and this is very, very techie, and some people say he's not qualified to say this, right? But the conversation of Graham is what seems to come up on Twitter more than anything else. And I don't like the conversation that I see, because even though quite often it starts with Wiley, and my God, he is the Godfather, a lot of it is his opinion on situations, and it is just his opinion. I don't think he should be solely responsible for telling the story of it. And I would really like to, and pardon me if I've missed it out, I would really like to see Logan Sama sit in a chair and give people, because he is an encyclopedia. He is someone whose memory, and he is someone that I remember would come out with me and EZ in the height of garage, right? To raves, when it just started to change to more beats, who then started to like them beats more, and the more it changed and the more it turned to Graham, from garage to Grammy, garage to Graham, he's been a fan through all of that. So I actually feel like he would give a really interesting beginning to current situation discussion, an unbiased one that doesn't want to lean towards himself or anyone. He's a fan of almost everyone in the game, and could really give you a good discussion about it. Regards to mental health and all of that, I mean, there's loads of people, man. You could tap into legends, you know what I'm saying? You could ask Fabio and Groove Rider up here to talk to you about. You could really just tap into anyone. But I like, because I see so much about the conversation of Graham and, you know, is it dead, or who started it, and this is what happened then, and this is what happened then. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if any of them people should be solely left to leave the story. Like, leave it to someone who's not an MC, you know, or like has a motive. Like, just let someone tell it who lived through it. And yeah, I'd like to see him. I'd be interested to hear him talk about it all.
Let's see if we can make it happen. But no, amazing. Honestly, thank you so much, bro, for being so open, honest, and yeah. How have you found it?
Man, it's always a pleasure to talk, man. I just feel like maybe if there's anything that someone can take, if it gives one person anything, you know, inspiration to do this thing, or maybe they understood something that I said that gives them a bit of happiness or freedom or an idea to do something, then, you know, we need to do more of it. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Nice one, bro. We'll close there, but thank you.
Cool, man. Big up. Thank you for having me. Big respect.
I'm real, bro. Thanks.